The first thing I remember about that night was the sound of crystal breaking. It shattered against the marble floor like a warning. Sharp, final, beautiful. Then came his voice. Cold, low, commanding. On your knees. The entire ballroom froze. I wasn't supposed to be there. Omegas like me weren't allowed inside the alpha sector of the Blackwell estate, but I had debts, and debts have claws. The catering job was supposed to be anonymous, quick, quiet, invisible. Instead, I was staring up at Adrian Blackwell, the most dangerous alpha in Europe, his black tuxedo catching the chandelier light, his eyes glacial and unreadable. And I was kneeling, not because he'd ordered me to, because my body obeyed before my mind could resist. The air thickened with alpha pheromones, power, smoke, cedarwood, danger. My suppressed scent fought to stay hidden under synthetic blockers, but the way Adrian's gaze sharpened told me I was failing. Did you just, his voice lowered, disobey my order? I swallowed hard. No, sir, I whispered, even though every instinct screamed for me to run. Behind him, the guests whispered like silk tearing, the elite of the Alpha Council watching, amused. A human Omega kneeling before a billionaire Alpha? Scandalous, entertaining, disposable. Adrian took a slow step closer, his polished shoes echoing. I felt the heat of his presence before he even touched me. Then clean it, he said softly. The wine you spilled. His glass had shattered near his shoes, dark liquid pooling like blood. And that was when the room stopped breathing. It was supposed to humiliate me. He didn't know I was an Omega. Not yet. He just thought I was another nameless servant. But as I reached for the napkin, something inside me broke. The suppression patch on my wrist flickered with static, a faint crackle of failed tech. I froze. Adrian's nostrils flared almost imperceptibly. His voice faltered. He smelled it. The truth. You're an Omega. His tone wasn't a question. It was realization, and a spark of something else beneath it. My heart stuttered. Please, sir, don't. He crouched slightly, meeting my eyes. For a moment, the alpha mask slipped. Beneath the arrogance was confusion, anger, need. And then, who sent you? Before I could answer, another voice sliced through the tension. Smooth, accented, dangerous. That's enough, Adrian. Everyone turned. Lucien Moreau, tall, dark-haired, eyes like dusk after a storm. The alpha heir of Moreau Holdings, Blackwell's oldest rival. If Adrian was a blade, Lucien was a flame. He approached with calculated calm, removing his gloves one finger at a time. You're scaring the poor boy, Lucien said, his tone deceptively light. Adrian straightened, icy fury in his posture. This is none of your concern. Lucien's smirk didn't reach his eyes. Everything in this house is my concern when you start giving orders like a tyrant. I tried to move back, to disappear, but Lucien's hand brushed my shoulder, steady and protective. That touch sent a rush of heat up my spine, different from Adrian's cold command. My pulse betrayed me. Both alphas noticed. Adrian's gaze hardened. Get him out of here, he ordered one of his guards. Lucien stepped forward, blocking the path. No! The single word dropped like thunder. Two alphas standing over me, the air thick with pheromones, cedar and smoke colliding with spice and storm. I felt the patch on my wrist sizzle, die completely. My scent spilled into the room like light through a crack. Every alpha present froze. Every beta looked away, because silver omegas weren't supposed to exist. Not anymore. Not after the purge. Adrian's voice came again, lower now, almost reverent. Who are you? I couldn't answer. All I could do was breathe through the heat crawling under my skin, trying to suppress the tremor in my hands. Lucien's hand tightened on my shoulder. He's mine, he said, the lie smooth as silk. Adrian's jaw locked. You're claiming him? Lucien's lips curved slightly. If that's what it takes to keep him from your cruelty, yes. For a moment, no one moved. The ballroom buzzed with static tension. Adrian exhaled sharply. Then you'd better be ready to defend that claim, Moreau. Lucien's eyes met his, calm, lethal. Always. That was how it began. Two alphas, one broken omega, a single moment that cracked open everything I thought I knew about survival. Later that night, I would learn that Adrian Blackwell's command wasn't just cruelty, it was fate. And Lucien Moreau's protection wasn't mercy. It was obsession. But in that moment, kneeling between them, I didn't know any of that yet. All I knew was that my life had just ended, and something else had begun. "Get him out of sight," Lucien whispered, his breath ghosting my ear, "before they smell too much." "And if they already have?" I asked, voice trembling. He hesitated, just for a second, then said, "Then we run." The morning after the gala, my face was everywhere. Every gossip feed, every corporate leak, every whispered thread on the Omega underground networks. The kneeling boy with silver hair and no crest mark. They called me the Servant Omega. They didn't know my name, but they didn't need to, because in the world of alphas and omegas, anonymity is protection. And I just lost mine. I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror of the safe house Lucien had thrown me into. Cracks spidered across the glass from where I'd hit it earlier. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Lucien had said the place was secure, hidden beneath the Moreau Holdings Tower in Geneva. But no amount of marble or soundproofing could drown out the echo of his voice in my head. "On your knees." I could still feel it. That command, carved into my spine, alive in my bloodstream like fire and ice. That wasn't supposed to happen. A verbal command shouldn't have been able to affect me like that. Not unless the alpha who gave it was compatible. And if he was, I closed my eyes. No, that was impossible. Lucien entered the room silently, dressed down for once, a dark turtleneck, sleeves rolled up, an easy grace that didn't fit the chaos he was dealing with. He set a tablet on the counter beside me. "The council wants your head, Elias," he said quietly. "Half of them think you're a lab-grown omega. The other half think you're bait." I forced a bitter laugh. "And what do you think?" Lucien looked at me for a long time, eyes unreadable. "I think you're dangerous. To all of us." That wasn't an accusation. It sounded almost like admiration. He turned the tablet toward me. A frozen image from the gala. Adrian's hand raised, my head bowed, Lucien stepping between us. The caption read, "Blackwell and Moreau clash over unidentified omega. Council investigation imminent." The pit of my stomach twisted. "I didn't ask for this," I whispered. Lucien's hand landed gently on my shoulder. "No one ever does." When he left, I tried to rest, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw him. Adrian Blackwell, the alpha who'd humiliated me, the alpha whose scent I couldn't stop remembering. Smoke, cedar, cold steel, it lingered on my skin like a phantom. And the worst part? My body wanted it. That terrified me more than anything. Night fell again, and I woke to a vibration against my wrist. My suppression patch, flickering, then static. "Damn it," I hissed, pressing it down. But it was too late. The faint silver glow beneath my skin pulsed once, then flared. A whisper of power rushed through me, scent markers blooming uncontrollably. That's when the door crashed open. Lucien stood there, pupils blown wide, breathing hard. "Elias!" He wasn't the only one. Adrian Blackwell followed him in. For a second, my mind couldn't process it. The two alphas in the same room, tension so sharp it hurt to breathe. Adrian looked worse than I'd imagined. Coat unbuttoned, hair disheveled, jaw clenched tight. But those eyes, still cold, still lethal. "You think you can hide him?" Adrian's voice was rough. "The council traced his scent. Half the alphas in Geneva are on alert." Lucien moved in front of me instinctively. "He's under my protection." Adrian laughed once. Low, dangerous. "You mean under your claim?" Lucien didn't deny it. And just like that, the air changed. Every molecule vibrated with alpha energy. Dominance, warning, possessive instinct. My knees nearly buckled. "Stop," I gasped, pressing a hand to my throat. "You'll draw them here." Adrian turned to me, eyes softening just a fraction. Then you tell me, Omega, who are you really? My breath hitched. Every secret I'd buried screamed to stay hidden. But something in his tone, something human, tore through my restraint. I don't know, I whispered. All I know is, when you gave that order, my body obeyed. Adrian froze. Lucien's hand tightened at my shoulder. He's bonded to you, he said quietly, on a primal level. Adrian's expression cracked, just slightly. That's impossible. I've never— Neither have I, Lucien interrupted, stepping closer. And yet here we are. They stared at each other like predators circling, both bound by something they didn't understand. And me? I was the rope burning between them. The scent markers in the room had grown unbearable. Heat, power, confusion. My pulse thundered as my glands burned faintly under my skin. Adrian swore under his breath. He's going into heat. Lucien's voice was strained. No, it's not natural. It's triggered. They both looked at me, and then realization hit Adrian's face like a blade. He's been marked before. I flinched back, hard in my throat. No, that's not— Adrian grabbed my wrist and turned it over. And there it was, faint under the fading light, a silver imprint just above my pulse, not visible to humans. But every alpha in the world would recognize it, a claim mark. And not just any mark, a crest, Blackwell's. Adrian's hand trembled. Who did this to you? I don't know, I breathed. I was a child. I don't— Lucien's tone dropped to a whisper. Adrian, if that's your crest, then he— Adrian's voice broke through, low, lethal, disbelieving. He's mine. The words hit me like lightning. Not a command this time, but a truth echoing through the bond that shouldn't exist. Lucien's eyes darkened, his jaw setting. Not if I can break it. The walls seemed to pulse with their pheromones, two opposing storms crashing together. And then, sirens. Security alarms blared through the tower. Lucien snapped to attention. They found us. Adrian turned to me, all business now, power snapping back into focus. Elias, you're coming with me. Lucien blocked his path. Over my dead body. If you stay, Adrian snarled, you'll both die. Then we run together, Lucien shot back. Adrian's eyes flicked to mine. Choose. My pulse hammered. Between them, my body trembled. Not in fear, but in something I didn't have words for. Lucien's calm, Adrian's fire. Both dangerous, both protective. Outside, boots pounded closer. Inside, the air was charged with impossible tension. Elias, Adrian said again, voice sharp. Now. Elias, Lucien murmured softly. Trust me. I took a breath and jumped toward one of them. When I woke, it was to the scent of rain and smoke. Not the sterile kind that clings to hospitals or luxury suites, but the real thing. Thunder-soaked air, faint leather, and something deeper, like dominance smoldering under silk. I know that scent, or rather my body does. I sit up too fast. Pain spikes through my wrist, right where Lucien's hand had pressed his mark earlier, to calm me down when I'd panicked. His scent still lingers faintly on my skin, except it's not the only one. Adrian's is here too. He's sitting in the corner, jacket off, shirt unbuttoned, just enough to reveal the veins of his throat. A dangerous sight for someone like me. His gaze flickers from the window to me, sharp and unreadable. Lucien stands a few feet away, his reflection warped in the tinted glass, pretending to study the skyline beyond. For a moment, neither speaks. The silence is heavy, too aware, too intimate. Then Adrian breaks it. You should have told me what you were. His voice is quieter than I expect, but it cuts like a blade. I swallow hard. Told you what? That I'm an Omega hiding from a system that would chain me to the first Alpha who caught my scent? Lucien turned slightly, his calm voice breaking the tension. He didn't have a choice, Adrian. You know how they treat unclaimed Omegas, especially Silvers. Adrian's jaw flexes. And you knew? You helped him hide? The room feels smaller, walls pulsing with their scents. Fire and storm. power, and restraint. My heartbeat is loud enough to fill the silence between them. I wasn't hiding for fun, I whisper. I was hiding because the registry would auction me off. You both know what happens to rare class Omegas. Lucien's expression softens. Adrian's doesn't. He steps closer, voice rough. And you ended up at my event, serving drinks to the board that funds half the Omega registry? Tell me that wasn't fate laughing in our faces. I look away trembling. Maybe it was. Adrian's hand grips my chin before I can retreat. Not cruel, but commanding. Look at me, Elias. When I do, his scent changes. Hotter, more volatile. Something ancient stirs beneath his gaze, the alpha inside recognizing the bond it's not supposed to. Lucien notices it too. He's suddenly at my side, fingers brushing my shoulder in warning. Don't push him. I'm not. Adrian's voice is low. But tell me, Lucien, do you feel it too? That one question hangs like a blade. Lucien's hand tightens slightly, as if he's grounding himself. Or me. Of course I do, he admits softly. He's ours. The word ours makes the air spark. The bond threads through the room, raw, magnetic. I can feel it forming, crawling beneath my skin like wildfire. Their alpha instincts are reacting to mine, trying to claim, to protect, to dominate, all at once. It's intoxicating and terrifying. I can barely breathe. Stop, I choke out, clutching my chest. I can't. It's too much. Immediately, Lucien backs off, his control tightening like steel. Adrian doesn't. His hand stays on my jaw, thumb brushing the faint glow pulsing just beneath my skin. The mark that shouldn't be there. He whispers, almost reverent, "Your scent. It's stronger now. You're in flux." Lucien curses under his breath. He's close to a heat cycle. Adrian's eyes snap to him. Then we need to contain it before someone else picks up on it. Contain it? I manage to laugh, shaking. You make it sound like a virus. Adrian meets my eyes, that ruthless billionaire mask cracking for just a second. Because that's how this world treats it, Elias. A gift turned into a curse. But I won't let them take you. For the first time, I hear truth in his voice. Lucien nods slowly. Then we do this our way. He moves closer until both alphas stand on either side of me, their scents mixing into something unbearably magnetic. I can feel their presence wrapping around me. Heat, control, safety. My instincts scream to run. My heart refuses. And when Lucien's hand finds mine, his thumb tracing that faint mark Adrian had triggered, I know something irreversible has begun. The bond isn't just instinct anymore. It's choice. But outside the glass, unseen from our penthouse refuge, someone watches. A flicker of movement on another rooftop, a shadowy figure with a glowing communication earpiece. Confirmed, the voice crackles through the static. The silver Omega has been found. Prepare extraction. The next morning, the sky bleeds silver. From the penthouse window, the city looks like a graveyard of glass and steel. Cold, perfect, untouchable. I wish I could feel the same. Lucien's voice drifts from the other room, low and firm, speaking French into his communicator. Adrian stands beside me, silent, his reflection in the glass sharp as a blade. Neither of us slept. The air still hums with the echo of what happened. The bond, the marks, the shared scent that won't fade. I clear my throat. They're watching us, aren't they? Adrian doesn't answer immediately. His eyes stay on the skyline, jaw tense. They've been watching you for years, Elias. You're the last registered Silver Omega born outside the control program. The words hit like a slap. That's impossible. My mother, she was human. Lucien enters, ending his call. She pretended to be. His gaze softens as he steps closer. Your bloodline traces back to the old European houses, before the Omega registry began. That's why they want you. You're proof of something they erased. I shake my head. I don't want to be proof. I just want to be free? Adrian's tone hardens. There's no such thing. Not for us. Not in this system. His bitterness cuts deeper than I expect. For the first time, I see the cracks under his armor. The boy who grew up groomed to control, not to choose. Lucien steps between us, voice quieter. Maybe freedom starts with defiance. He holds out a small obsidian data key. This holds records from the registry archives, your genetic code and theirs. You were part of a pact made long before you were born. I stare at the drive like it's cursed. A pact? Adrian exhales sharply, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Our families made an agreement, a bloodline union between two alpha houses and a single omega heir. It was supposed to merge power and end the dominance wars. I blink. You mean? Lucien nods grimly. You were meant to be ours from birth. The words hollow me out. Meant to be theirs? Before I'd even existed? I step back, shaking my head. No, that's not a bond. That's a sentence. Adrian's eyes flash gold, voice rising. You think I asked for this? You think I wanted to want you like this? Lucien catches his arm before the tension explodes. Enough. I can feel the heat of their instincts. Alpha against alpha, dominance clawing at control. My pulse spikes, my omega nature screaming to react, to submit, to flee. But I stand my ground. Stop fighting over what you think I am, I whisper. I'm not a pact. I'm not a prophecy. I'm a person. Adrian looks like he wants to argue, but something in my voice breaks through. He looks away first. Lucien releases him slowly. The silence that follows is fragile, but real. And then, as if the world can't let us breathe, the windows tremble. A low hum reverberates through the building, the sound of airships. Lucien curses, rushing to the control panel. The registry found us. Adrian's phone buzzes. He glances at it once, then his expression turns lethal. They trace the safe house's power grid. They're using drones. Before I can ask how, the entire penthouse plunges into chaos. Red alarms flashing, the city outside flooding with light and sound. Lucien grabs my wrist, pressing something cold into my palm, a small silver ring with his family's crest. If we're separated, this will lead you to me. Adrian's voice slices through the noise. No one's separating. We move now. Where? I shout over the sirens. Adrian meets my eyes. Fierce, certain. To the vault. To finish what our ancestors started. I don't know what that means, but the look in his eyes tells me I'm about to find out. Outside, above the chaos, a formation of black airships circles the skyscraper. Inside one of them, a woman in a white suit watches the screens with cold precision. Activate the retrieval unit, she orders. The Silver Omega must not bond outside authorization. Her assistant hesitates. Ma'am, both alphas are with him. She smiles faintly. Then we take them too. The air smells like steel and ozone. We move through an underground corridor lit by flickering emergency lights, the sound of our boots echoing off concrete. The alarms above are muffled now, replaced by the low hum of power lines and the rhythmic pulse of distant engines. Adrian leads the way, a weapon holstered beneath his coat, jaw tight. Lucien follows behind me, his hand hovering near my back, but never quite touching. None of us speaks. Not until we reach the final door. It's old, older than the skyscraper that hides it. Steel etched with symbols that glow faintly under my skin's proximity. I feel a pulse inside me respond. It's the same rhythm as my heartbeat. Lucien glances at Adrian. It's responding to him. Adrian doesn't hesitate. Then he opens it. My palms are slick with sweat as I press them against the metal. The symbols flare brighter, silver light threading between the ancient lines. Something inside the vault recognizes me, like a sleeping beast stirring. Then with a hiss, the door slides open. Inside lies something I never expected. Not money, not weapons, but a temple. Circular, carved into the stone foundations of the city, with a silver crest inlaid into the floor. 2 alpha sigils intertwined with a single omega mark between them. I step forward, awe mixing with dread. What is this place? Adrian's voice echoes softly behind me. The vault of the pact, built generations ago. Every major alpha bloodline has one, a sanctuary or a cage, depending on who you ask. Lucien adds quietly, and only the bonded can open it. The meaning sinks in slowly. I opened it, which means we're bound. I turned to face them, panic tightening in my chest. You said the bond wasn't complete. Lucien looks away. Adrian doesn't. It wasn't, until now. The words make my knees weak. I stumble back, breath quickening. You tricked me? Adrian steps closer, voice low but fierce. You think I wanted this? I fought it until it burned through my control. You think I enjoy knowing I'd kill anyone who touches you? Lucien cuts in, his tone controlled but shaking. Enough, both of you. None of us chose this. But now that it's awakened, we deal with it together. His words settle the air. Barely. Adrian takes a slow breath, his gaze softening. Lucien's right. The bond changes everything. But it doesn't have to destroy us. I want to believe him. I want to believe either of them. Before I can reply, the vault lights shift, flickering from silver to crimson. A siren begins to pulse through the walls. Lucien curses. They've breached the perimeter. Adrian draws his weapon. They track the bond energy signature. The registry is already in the lower levels. My body reacts before my mind can. My instincts scream to run. But something else, something deeper, roots me to the spot. The crest on the floor glows, symbols spinning faster, forming a halo of light around us. What's happening? I shout over the rising hum. Lucien's eyes widen. The vault is initiating a seal. It's protecting the bonded. Adrian grabs my wrist, dragging me into the center of the circle. Then we use it. The light grows blinding. For a second, I see everything. Their faces close to mine, their scents tangling, their hearts pounding in sync. Then, darkness. When my vision clears, we're standing in another space, a hidden chamber beneath the vault. The air is still, ancient, almost sacred. Lucien exhales. We're below the registry's scanners now. Adrian holsters his gun and looks at me. Elias, there's something you need to know. I meet his gaze, still dizzy. What else could there be? He steps forward, eyes shadowed. The vault isn't just a sanctuary. It's a bloodline forge. It binds our fates permanently. Lucien's head snaps toward him. You mean? Adrian nods grimly. If one of us dies, the others follow. The silence that follows feels like gravity collapsing. My throat closes. So I'm a curse. That's what you're saying. Adrian's hand tightens into a fist. No, you're the key that can end this entire system. You're what they fear most. An Omega not owned, but chosen. Lucien steps closer, his tone softer. And we're the ones who'll protect that freedom, no matter what it costs. Their words wrap around me, terrifying and tender all at once. I don't know whether to cry, scream, or fall into their arms. But before I can decide, the chamber trembles. From above, a voice echoes through the speakers, cold, feminine, and terrifyingly calm. Vault breach confirmed. Prepare to extract targets. Authorization code, Director Voss. My blood runs cold. That name. My mother's name. When I opened my eyes, everything was silent. The air was heavy with the scent of ash and silver dust. The vault's ceiling had collapsed halfway, letting in a faint beam of morning light that cut through the smoke. My body ached, every nerve screaming as if lightning had danced inside me. Adrian's voice was the first thing I heard. Elias, he breathed, crouching beside me, his hand trembling as he brushed the debris off my hair. Stay with me. You did it. The chain's gone. Lucien stood a few feet away, his coat torn, his usually calm face streaked with dirt and blood. In his palm glowed the remnants of the bloodline sigil, the final mark of my father's control, now cracked and fading. I could feel it too, the silence in my head where the whispers used to be. The curse, the bond, the endless chain tying me to the registry's will. It was gone, but freedom came with a price. The vault's core, the ancient structure that powered the entire bloodline registry, was breaking apart. The silver rings rotated erratically, the energy pulsing out of control. We have to move, Lucien shouted, grabbing Adrian's arm. If the seal detonates, the whole estate will collapse. Adrian hesitated, looking down at me. Torn between the mission and me. No, he said fiercely. I'm not leaving him. Neither am I, Lucien replied. And then for the first time, the two alphas looked at each other, truly looked, and something changed. The rivalry, the centuries of power struggle between their families, the dominance and pride, it all burned away in that single, desperate moment. Both of them turned to me, as if the decision was mine to make. I forced a breath. Take me home. The explosion hit just as we reached the stairwell. Lucien shielded me with his body. Adrian threw up a barrier, pure alpha energy that shimmered like glass. The force knocked us into the elevator shaft, metal groaning and fire raining down. When the dust settled, we were alive, bruised, bloodied, but alive. And when we emerged into the dawn, the mansion above had collapsed entirely. The once grand Velmore estate was now just smoke and ruin. I stood there, the cold morning wind biting at my skin, and for the first time in my life, I felt free. Days blurred after that. We hid in a quiet villa by the coast, one of Lucien's private sanctuaries. The world thought I had died in the explosion, and maybe that was for the best. I remember the first morning the sunlight hit my skin without burning. Adrian was leaning against the balcony, shirt open, a cup of coffee in his hand. Lucien was inside, quietly repairing one of his old data tablets. I sat between them, wrapped in one of Adrian's jackets, and whispered, "So what happens now?" Adrian smirked. "You start over." Lucien looked up, his eyes softer than I'd ever seen. "You live. You choose what comes next. No more chains, no more bloodlines." For a moment, I didn't answer. I looked at both of them. Two alphas who had been raised to fight, to conquer, to claim. But somehow, they'd chosen to protect instead. I reached out, one hand finding Adrian's, the other resting on Lucien's wrist. "I choose both." Adrian laughed softly, not mocking but full of disbelief. "You're impossible." Lucien smiled. "No," he said quietly. "He's perfect." But peace never comes easy in our world. That night, as the tide rolled in and the stars scattered across the sea, I felt something stir in the distance. A hum, faint but unmistakable. The registry's network, broken but not dead. Someone was rebuilding it. I stepped outside, the wind cold and sharp, my heart steady this time. Adrian joined me first, his presence warm, grounding. Lucien followed, silent as always, his silver pendant gleaming faintly under the moonlight. "Something's coming," I said. Adrian's jaw tightened. "Then we'll face it." Lucien turned toward me, his eyes glowing faintly blue. "Together?" "Together," I said. And in that moment, as the waves crashed below and the horizon began to bleed with the first light of dawn, I realized something profound. Freedom wasn't the absence of chains. It was the power to choose who stood beside you when they broke. The world moved on, believing the registry had fallen. The name Elias Voss faded from history, but in the shadows of the new era, whispers began again. Not of control, but of a new order, one that balanced Alpha and Omega alike. Somewhere in a hidden villa by the sea, a silver-haired Omega and his two Alphas watched the sunrise, ready to build it. "This isn't the end," Adrian murmured. "No," I whispered, leaning against him. "It's the beginning of our story."